my name is Anouk, and welcome to podcast week 3. If this is the first podcast you're listening to, or even if you have listened to the first two, you might be wondering, why the hell should I check out your website? Well, I'm in Berlin right now to do my graduation research, and my research is basically about what happens to a creative person, me, when they move to a hypercreative city, Berlin. Most of the interviews you find on the audio page are interviews with people that I meet here and are very interesting in some or other way. They have a connection with art and creativity. If you are a creative person, it might be nice to listen to people having different processes than you and kind of learn from that and break from your habits. And even if you're not artistic and maybe you want to be, then you can also hear stories about people and what they went through to get where they are. On the other pages of my website, you can find what I've been doing since I came to Berlin and after meeting all these creative people. Last week I did an interview with Cliff, and here's a preview.
I'm really into pop culture, and I love to make art surrounding all sorts of pop culture from the 90s, from the 80s, all throughout. And I like to apply a lot of that to my art, make things that are personal to me.
If you want to listen to the 5-minute version of the interview, you can find it in the audio page. Last week I also wrote a song for the first time since I got here, and usually I just write about myself or the people around me, and this time I tried to write a song about a girl I knew nothing about but just happened to see on the street. Here's a preview. You can find the full song, or, well, how far I got, on the audio page. I also finished my story, the chapter of my short story that I wrote last week, Bathtub, Part 2, and here's a preview.
Like her mother, she had big eyes, but even though their faces looked alike, the effect was somehow different. For Arlandria, it was one of her better features, whilst for her mother, they looked oddly out of place. It was as if the contours of her face had fallen a little, as if she had shrunk inside. But the size of the eyes stayed the same, just the light behind them had slipped out. She thought about her childhood, and as the sound of displaced water caught in her ears, a clear memory came to mind.
You can find the second part of Bathtub under the story page. I also wrote a new blog in the blog section. It's called Safe and Sorry. Whether you're a creative person, you want to be, or you're just interested in creative people, then just check out my website and see whatever you find interesting. I hope to catch you next week.